First contact. Captain Elias Reeves stood motionless on the observation deck of the UES Artemis, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of distant stars. After 16 months in deep space, the exploration vessel had ventured farther than any human ship before it, crossing the boundary of charted territory into what the crew had begun to call the Silent Expanse. "Captain, you need to see this." Dr. Maizong's voice crackled through the comm system, an unusual edge of excitement breaking through her normally calm demeanor. Reeves sighed. In his 20 years with the United Earth Space Agency, he'd learned that you need to see this rarely heralded good news. "On my way, Doctor." The science lab was a hive of activity when he arrived. The usual methodical precision had given way to barely contained chaos as the 12-person science team huddled around the main holographic display. "We detected it an hour ago," Dr. Zhang explained, her fingers dancing across the control panel. "At first, we thought it was an asteroid cluster, but then..." The hologram shifted, revealing a massive structure floating against the backdrop of space. It was unlike anything Reeves had ever seen. A colossal vessel that seemed to defy conventional design principles, with sweeping, organic curves intersecting with geometric precision. "That's a ship," he whispered. "Not just any ship, Captain," Zhang replied. "Based on our preliminary scans, it's been out here for at least 50,000 years. The captain's mind raced with implications. Humanity had spent centuries searching for signs of intelligent extraterrestrial life, finding only microbial evidence on Mars and Europa. Now, barely 3 light-years beyond their farthest outpost, they'd stumbled upon not just evidence, but a technological marvel that made the Artemis look like a primitive canoe. "Have you attempted communication?" Reeves asked, his training taking over. Dr. Kavita Patel, the team's xenolinguist, stepped forward. "We've tried standard first contact protocols. Mathematical sequences, binary code, radio frequencies across the spectrum. No response. It appears dormant," Zhang added, "but our sensors detect a power source within the vessel. Whatever it is, it's still operational after 50 millennia." Reeves studied the hologram, noting the vessel's immense scale. "Set course to intercept. Alert the crew. I want a full briefing in 1 hour." Communications Officer Nadia Volkov watched the alien vessel grow larger in the view screen as the Artemis approached. Born on Mars, she had never quite adjusted to Earth's gravity during her academy training. But space felt like home. "Transmitting greetings sequence Alpha," she reported, her fingers flying across her console. "All frequencies, all known protocols." The bridge was silent except for the soft electronic hum of equipment. Captain Reeves stood behind her, arms crossed, while Security Chief Akira Tanaka maintained a watchful stance, his hand never far from his sidearm. Still no response, Nadia confirmed after several minutes. Dr. Zhang studied her tablet. "I'm detecting minuscule energy fluctuations. It's almost like it's listening." "Continue transmission," Reeves ordered. "Let's try the sequence again." Nadia nodded, but before she could restart the greeting protocol, frustration overwhelmed her professional veneer. "Why won't you answer us?" she muttered under her breath in her native Russian. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The alien vessel pulsed with sudden light, ripples of blue-green energy cascading across its hull. The Artemis proximity alarms blared as energy readings spiked off the charts. "What the hell did you do?" Tanaka demanded, drawing his weapon instinctively. Nadia stared in shock. I just spoke to it." "In Russian," Dr. Zhang noted, her eyes wide. The mathematical protocols didn't work, but a human voice in Russian triggered a response. Captain Reeves leaned forward. "Officer Volkov, say something else." Nadia swallowed hard and spoke again in Russian, this time a formal greeting. The vessel's response intensified, patterns of light shifting and coalescing across its surface. "It's generating a docking field," the navigation officer announced, his voice strained. It's pulling us in." "Should I resist, Captain?" he asked, hands hovering over the controls. Reeves hesitated only briefly. No, let it guide us in. But be prepared for emergency separation. As the Artemis was drawn toward the ancient vessel, the crew watched in awe as a seam appeared in the seemingly solid hull, widening into an entrance large enough to accommodate their ship. "It's inviting us inside," Dr. Zhang whispered. The boarding team assembled in the airlock, each member checking their environmental suits. Captain Reeves had selected a small group: himself, Dr. Zhang, Security Chief Tanaka, Engineer Lucas Okafor, and Communications Officer Volkov. "Remember," Reeves addressed them, "we're making first contact with a civilization that may have been spacefaring when our ancestors were still figuring out agriculture. Standard protocols apply. No hostile actions. Document everything." The team stepped through the Artemis's airlock into a transparent tunnel that had formed between the two vessels. It was neither solid nor liquid, but something in between. A miracle of engineering that shouldn't have been possible according to human understanding of physics. "Atmospheric readings are stabilizing," Zhang reported, checking her scanner. "Oxygen, nitrogen, trace elements. It's creating a breathable atmosphere." "Keep your helmets on until I give the word," Reeves ordered. They progressed through the tunnel into the ancient ship. The interior defied expectations. Instead of a confined space, they entered what appeared to be a vast chamber with walls that seemed to shift and move, as if the very structure of the vessel was fluid rather than solid. "This is incredible," Engineer Okafor breathed, his engineer's mind struggling to comprehend the technology surrounding them. "The ship appears to be reconfiguring itself in response to our presence." Nadia felt an odd sensation, a gentle pressure at the edges of her consciousness, neither invasive nor threatening, but unmistakably present. "Does anyone else feel that?" she asked hesitantly. Before anyone could respond, the chamber illuminated with countless points of light, coalescing into a three-dimensional star map that surrounded them completely. At the center of the display, a pulsing light marked their current position. "It's showing us the galaxy," John gasped, "but not as it is now. Based on stellar positioning, this map shows the galaxy as it existed approximately 50,000 years ago." Suddenly, the points of light began to move, stars shifting position as the map accelerated through time until it matched current astronomical charts. A series of symbols appeared, unlike any language the team had encountered. "It's communicating," Nadia said, "but I don't understand." As if in response to her words, the symbols transformed, shifting and changing until they formed recognizable Cyrillic characters. Then English, then Mandarin, cycling through human languages at breathtaking speed. The message, when it stabilized, was simple and profound. "The Guardians welcome the children of the architects." "What does that mean?" Tanaka asked, his weapon still ready despite the seemingly peaceful contact. Before anyone could speculate, the chamber shifted again. The walls became transparent, revealing the true scale of the vessel they had entered. It wasn't just a ship, it was a repository, a vast library of knowledge. Countless data storage units lined massive chambers that extended farther than they could see. "This isn't just a starship," Dr. Zhang whispered in awe. "It's an archive." New symbols appeared before them, then transformed into English. Voice recognition confirmed. Genetic profile matched. Access granted. "The Guardian awaits the inheritors." Captain Reeves exchanged glances with his team. It recognized Officer Volkov's voice pattern, and apparently our DNA. "But why?" Nadia asked. "How could an alien vessel from 50,000 years ago recognize human speech or genetics?" The answer materialized before them as a holographic figure took shape, humanoid but clearly not human, with elongated limbs and features that seemed both familiar and alien. When it spoke, its voice resonated not through the air, but directly in their minds. "Because you are not the first," it said, "and we have been waiting a very long time." The Guardian's purpose. The holographic figure stood before them, its form translucent yet somehow substantial. Captain Reeves stepped forward, years of diplomatic training guiding his response. I am Captain Elias Reeves of the United Earth Space Agency vessel Artemis. We come in peace and friendship. The figure's expression remained impassive. I am the Guardian Interface. I exist to preserve knowledge and prepare for the Inheritor's return. Its gaze shifted to Nadia. Your vocal patterns activated dormancy protocols. After 52,000 years, the cycle begins anew. Dr. Zhang moved closer, her scientific curiosity overcoming caution. What cycle? Who were the architects you mentioned? The chamber transformed around them, the walls becoming a canvas for images that flowed like water. Cities that defied gravity, worlds terraformed and teeming with life, vessels that dwarfed even this massive archive ship traveling between stars. The architects rose 100,000 years before your earliest civilizations, the Guardian explained. They seeded life throughout this galaxy, nurturing worlds with potential. Earth was one such world. The images shifted to show beings similar to the hologram working with genetic material, carefully modifying and cultivating life forms across diverse environments. You're saying humans are engineered? Engineer Okafor asked, struggling with the implications. Not engineered, the Guardian corrected. Guided. The architects found primitive hominids with potential. They accelerated certain traits: curiosity, adaptability, creativity. The rest of your evolution was natural, as intended. Captain Reeves processed this revelation with remarkable composure. Why? What was their purpose? The Guardian's form seemed to dim slightly, because they knew what was coming. They had seen it before. The visual display changed dramatically, showing a wave of darkness spreading across star systems. Worlds that had teemed with life were left barren, civilizations erased in moments. It was destruction on a scale beyond comprehension. The Void, the Guardian named it, a cosmic force that consumes all in its path. It comes in cycles, awakening when galactic civilizations reach certain technological thresholds. The architects faced it and prevailed, but at tremendous cost. Security Chief Tanaka's hand tightened on his weapon. And this Void, is it coming back? It never left, the Guardian replied simply. It retreats, recovers, returns. The cycle is approximately 50,000 years. By our calculations, its awakening is imminent. The implications silenced the team. Humanity had only recently ventured beyond their solar system, establishing a handful of outposts. They were in no position to face a threat that had challenged a civilization capable of building the vessel they now stood in. If the architects were so advanced, why didn't they destroy this void permanently? Reeves asked. The void cannot be destroyed by conventional means, the Guardian answered. It exists partially outside normal space-time. The architects discovered only one effective strategy: unpredictability. The display shifted again, showing battles where smaller, more primitive vessels employed tactics that confused and disrupted the void's forces. The void operates through perfect prediction. It analyzes patterns, anticipates responses, counters with absolute efficiency. The architect's technology became predictable to it. But humans, the Guardian turned to face them directly. Humans are chaos embodied. Your decisions defy logical prediction. Your creativity generates solutions no algorithm can anticipate. Nadia finally understood. That's why my voice activated the ship. You were waiting for us specifically. Yes, the Guardian confirmed. This vessel contains all the knowledge the architects preserved, their history, their technologies, their understanding of the void. It waited for the descendants of those they guided on Earth to reach the stars, to claim their inheritance before the next cycle begins. Dr. Zhang's scientific mind raced with questions. But how could they know we would develop as they intended? That we would even survive long enough to reach space? They didn't, the Guardian replied. You were one of many possibilities they seeded throughout the galaxy. Some failed. Others evolved differently than anticipated. You are the first to find us. carrying the specific genetic and cognitive markers the architects enhanced. "So, what happens now?" Reeves asked, the weight of command never feeling heavier than in this moment. The Guardian gestured, and the chamber transformed once more, revealing a vast repository of technology. Weapons, defense systems, faster-than-light drives far beyond current human capabilities. Now you prepare. The knowledge contained in this vessel will advance your civilization by centuries, but time is short. The void stirs already at the edges of this galaxy. Within your lifetime, it will reach populated systems. Engineer Okafor stared at the displayed technology with professional awe. "We couldn't possibly understand all this in time, even with our best scientists." "You will not be alone," the Guardian interrupted. "This vessel, and others like it scattered throughout the galaxy, contain interfaces designed to teach, to guide. I am programmed to assist the inheritors in claiming their legacy." Captain Reeves took a deep breath, feeling the weight of a responsibility that extended far beyond his crew or even Earth. "And if we refuse, if we're not ready for this knowledge or this fight?" The Guardian's expression remained unchanged. "Then the cycle continues without you. The void consumes all in its path. Your worlds, your people, everything you have built will be erased, as countless civilizations before you have been erased." A heavy silence fell over the team as they contemplated the Guardian's words. It was Security Chief Tanaka who finally broke it. "We need to report back to Earth Command. This is beyond our authority to decide." Reeves nodded in agreement, though his eyes never left the Guardian. "We'll return to our vessel and establish communication with our superiors. I trust that's acceptable." "The choice must be yours," the Guardian confirmed. "But know this, the moment your presence activated this vessel, ripples spread across space-time. The void will have sensed it. The countdown has begun, regardless of your decision." As the team prepared to return to the Artemis, Nadia lingered, studying the holographic figure with intense curiosity. "Why did the ship respond to my voice specifically?" she asked. "There are 6 billion humans. What made me different?" The Guardian turned to her, and for the first time, its expression softened slightly. "Of all your crew, your genetic profile bears the closest resemblance to the architect who designed this vessel." In a sense, across 50,000 years, she recognized a distant daughter. Back aboard the Artemis, Captain Reeves faced the most challenging mission report of his career. How to explain to Earth Command that humanity was the inheritor of an ancient legacy, and simultaneously the front line in a cosmic war they never knew existed. The senior staff gathered in the conference room, still processing what they had learned. Dr. Zhang had already begun analyzing the preliminary data the Guardian had provided about architect technology. Engineer Okafor was sketching designs inspired by the propulsion systems he glimpsed. Even the usually stoic Tanaka seemed energized by the revelations. "We should proceed with caution," Reeves advised. "The Guardian's claims are extraordinary. We need verification before we commit to any course of action." "With respect, Captain," Nadia interjected, "I believe the Guardian was telling the truth. The ship responded to human genetic markers and voice patterns that couldn't possibly be coincidental." Dr. Zhang nodded in agreement. "The technology we observed is centuries beyond our capabilities, and the star maps it showed us included details about distant systems we haven't even observed yet. Details our initial scans are already confirming as accurate." Reeves leaned back in his chair, considering their words. "I'm not suggesting the Guardian lied, but we're talking about transforming human civilization overnight, preparing for a threat we can barely comprehend. The implications are staggering." "So are the stakes," Tanaka countered. "If this void is real, if it's coming, we need every advantage we can get." Their discussion was interrupted as the ship's AI announced an incoming transmission from the Guardian vessel. On the view screen, a star map appeared, highlighting a region at the edge of the galaxy. Energy readings consistent with the Guardian's description of the void have been detected, the ship's science officer reported, her voice tense. "Multiple systems have gone dark in the past month. Whatever it is It's moving faster than anticipated. The senior staff fell silent, the reality of their situation sinking in. They had ventured into deep space, seeking knowledge and discovery. Instead, they had found an ancient burden and a looming threat. Captain Reeves studied the faces of his crew, seeing in them not fear but determination. Humanity had survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and their own self-destructive tendencies. Perhaps the architects had chosen wisely after all. "Send a priority message to Earth Command," he ordered. Tell them we found our inheritance, and with it, our purpose." As the Artemis maintained position alongside the ancient vessel, Nadia returned to the observation deck, gazing at the starship that had waited 50,000 years for humanity to find it. Despite the overwhelming responsibility they now faced, she felt a strange sense of rightness, as if pieces of a cosmic puzzle were finally falling into place. Somewhere among those stars, darkness was spreading. But for the first time in 50 millennia, the children of the architects were ready to face it, not with superior technology or overwhelming force, but with the unpredictable creativity that made humans uniquely equipped